Hi, my name is Lara. Welcome to my channel, Inner Goddess Guidance. My channel is about self-healing and self-mastery and tips and tools to help you along the way, whether you are a divine feminine on the twin flame journey or anybody else who is on a self-healing journey. So today we're going to talk about dreams, and I have really an amazing story to share with you about how this came about. One day after I started the channel very early on, I was up in the middle of the night, as I often am. In fact, right now it is 5 a.m. in Seattle, and I woke up at 3:30. So I often do this, and I was up and I was checking comments had come in, and I saw a comment from a viewer and replied, and then another viewer made a comment as well. So the three of us were sort of commenting simultaneously. And that is how I met Esayo from Botswana. I discovered that she was from Botswana, and I had already worked with Carol, who was also, responding to comments, and she was in Australia. And so here I was in Seattle at about 3 a.m. and Esayo in Botswana about 9 hours, I think it's 9 hours ahead. And then, yes. And then Carol in Australia, 17 hours ahead, and yet we were all in the same place at the same time because we were in the chat, basically, or in the comment section. It was really a beautiful moment for me to recognize how this channel can bring people from different parts of the planet together in the same mission, in the same purpose, and in support of each other. And a beautiful sort of relationship began to unfold. I discovered that Esayo is a dream interpreter. Among many things that she does, one of her talents is dream interpretation, and that she has her own channel. And so she and I started to chat, and I asked her if she would be interested in talking about dream interpretation on the channel. Meanwhile, I had been in a coaching session with Carol, and after I talked with Esayo, I reached out to Carol and asked if she would be willing to submit one of her dreams to Esayo for interpretation. So that all unfolded about a week and a half ago, and Carol sent off her dream to Esayo. Esayo did reply with her interpretation, and now all of us are meeting to discuss that. So first I'd like to welcome Esayo. Esayo in Botswana. Hi, Esayo.
Hi, Carol. Thank you for having me. For Lara as well.
Thank you. And Carol, I know it just says Diggy on our screen, but you are in Australia. Which part of Australia are you in, Carol?
I'm currently in Brisbane. Yeah, I live in Brisbane at the moment.
Okay. And one way that, one connection for us beyond this is that you originally were born in Africa. Which part of Africa were you born in?
Zambian by birth, yeah.
Okay. So another connection. It's really beautiful that we all can discover in this way the many ways we're connected. So now a little bit about dreams. One of the ways that we can use our journal is to keep track of our dreams. I recommend you just keep it by your bed. And as you have a dream that you believe is important to you, or whatever you remember from your dreams, you write it down. We do forget them very easily upon waking. But when we go to sleep, sort of magic happens. Our prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain that is all about daily living and ordering things, it kind of shuts down, and our body shuts down, and other parts of our brain sort of come online. And for many people would say that we're connecting with a whole nother dimension. We're getting certainly information from our subconscious in the form of symbols. And there are some symbols that are common. So when you have a dream, you can look those symbols up and try to interpret your own dream. For example, water can symbolize emotion or something deep that you need to go in that's held in your subconscious. Carl Jung studied universal symbols. And I recommend that you just go online. There are many, many different resources. This morning, I pulled up a Mental Floss article about 12 common dreams and what they supposedly mean. And dreams that they mention are things like falling and what that means, teeth falling out. Oh my gosh, I hate that dream. It's disturbing. Showing up to work or school without clothes or partially clothed, dying, meeting a celebrity, being chased, and a partner is cheating. They mention all of these dreams. So some of the dreams that I love the best are the flying dreams, where I have had several dreams in my life where I get to take off in the air. Sometimes I'm a bit wobbly at first. Sometimes I've turned into a bird and I have wings. But the flying dreams for me are the best. And so there are many ways to go online to look up dream symbols. But what Carol does is a little bit different. So Carol, I want to ask you, what is a dream interpreter and how is it you came to be a dream interpreter? What is it that you do?
It's something that I didn't realize was an ability or a skill. And I always was asked by my friends to interpret a dream or interpret some sort of symbolism they'd seen, or a bird, or some sort of a different appearance that they thought was different. And they would ask me, but I didn't think it was anything. I thought anybody would do that. It was only after a while I realized that, or when I was on my journey, that I realized that that was something that was unique to me and it was intuitive. So I wasn't even looking it up or looking for interpretations of what their dreams were. They would call me after the dream. So sometimes it would be like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And they would call me and say, this is the dream I had and this is what happened. And I would just blurt out whatever I thought it was. And they were happy with that. It made sense to them. And even as the day would roll on, they would call me back and say, yes, this is what it meant. And I'm so glad. And I'm thinking nothing of it. I'm just thinking it's just like when you call your girlfriend, you say the guy did this to you, your boyfriend did this. I thought that was the same thing. It was only until I got on this journey, this was in 2017, that I realized that this is something that I need to do to reach more people and help more people. Because what I realized is that the dreams were, they're filled with information for that person. And they're not tapping into it. They can use it to live better lives, to answer questions that they have, to just move you along your way. Or it's such a powerful tool that people are just sitting on.
Yeah, I think, intuitively, we know when we have a dream, sometimes they're disturbing, like nightmares, of course, are disturbing to us. Mm-hmm. And some dreams are very joyful. In fact, it was a dream that inspired me in part to do this channel, because I had a dream about the divine feminine. And I mentioned that early on in one of my videos. And I remember that there are still dreams that I remember fairly vividly that I had when I was a little kid. So dreams can be very, very significant. And of course, there are lots of people that believe that that is when we are connecting to messages from the divine. And that, we can even set an intention before we go to sleep to ask Spirit to bring us messages in our dreams. Please speak to us and give us messages. And so, and I think the best thing that happened to me when I was first starting this, so very close to the time I had my dream about the divine feminine, was I have had dreams where I woke up twice laughing, and the joy that can come. So we have the nightmares, of course, that are so disturbing, but we also can experience such joy like flying or whatever, if we can keep track of our dreams and understand our dreams and see them as really a tool for getting in touch with information that's not accessible to us in our conscious waking hours, right?
Yeah.
So now I want to talk about how someone would start to work with dreams. Esayo, what advice would you give them? Because I know you have an online community, like a Facebook group, right?
I have a Facebook page. I don't have a group per se, but just a page, two pages where people can reach me. But usually what I feel people should do is, like you said, journal it. And a lot of people speak into their phone. So if you have your phone by your bed and you wake up, just speak into it. Yes. And my thing is also, sometimes you don't remember everything, but that one thing is enough for me to interpret it for you. So never think, oh, I can't remember anything. There's one thing. How did you feel? Even if it's a sensation, is enough to be able to interpret it. You can interpret it if let's say I guide you or help you. Sometimes I feel, some people have the skill to do it. So why not work with them to figure it out with them? But those are really the main things. Never think that if you can't remember a dream, the feeling or sensation or a color is not important. It is important. That might be the whole essence of the dream. So anything you can think of recording it is your, if you need to write it, if you need to speak into a phone or tell someone who remembers it and can relay it back to you, immediately. And basically that's it.
Okay, so whether they speak into the phone, which is an excellent tip, you wake up, you're groggy, maybe you just turn on that app and just talk what you remember right into the phone instead of having to really focus on typing or anything like that. That's a beautiful tip. And then you can always write it out later, by listening back. So how is it that you work with clients? Because I know you have clients from all over the world. And how would someone come to you? Tell us about that process.
Well, normally people come to I'm in some groups, and when people talk about, some people may post that they had this dream. And usually I don't feel like I should interpret a dream for everyone to read. So I usually would reach out to them. Many people don't like that, they're uncomfortable, but I just reach out. If I feel drawn to it, I will reach out to you, say, if you want your dream interpreted, contact me via Messenger. Or if I get referrals, they contact me via Messenger, my Facebook page, or YouTube. And basically what I ask you is that just write down all the details of your dream. I prefer for you to write it so I can give you an in-depth interpretation. I could just give you a verbal one, but I feel when I write it, a lot more comes through for me. And so there are some details that I may miss when I'm just talking to you, as opposed to writing it out. And I found out when I would interpret my friends' dreams, after that, in the morning, I would write things out. More things will keep coming to me. So it's best for you to send me the dream via Messenger or email, and I'll respond to you. I usually give myself 3 to 4 days, because sometimes I feel that it gives me time. Sometimes I feel stopped, like spirit is stopping me, like, no, you can't, don't write it yet. And when I do that, so I give myself 3 to 4 days. Sometimes when I do that, that person, whatever I interpreted to them happened. So it's like that I was stopped from interpreting the earlier. And by the time they got it, there was an answer for them in that dream. So my process is I give myself 3 to 4 days, but I think I may increase the number of days depending on how I feel. But that's how I do it. You just contact me, you send me your dream. I have a PayPal account as well, which you can, make a payment into that. And then I respond, and then I reply to your email.
Is there a difference in cost in terms of the length of the dream or the amount of work that you do? Like, how do you determine how much it costs to have a dream interpreted?
Well, I have an in-depth version. That was what I was doing initially, but I realized that it was depleting me and making me very exhausted. So I needed to either have an in-depth and have a price for that, have a synopsis, which is short, and then like a mini, what I call a mini. It's like in between the two, you know, and it depends on the person, what it is you want. Then I have specials where I would do almost an in-depth for a very small amount, just so you get a taste of what I do, you know.
Excellent.
And yeah.
And we're going to get a taste of what you do right now, because I want to talk about, of course, I had reached out and asked Carol to send you a dream, and then you interpreted it. So,
Right.
Carol, tell us about this sound. Tell me about the dream that you chose to send off to. You don't have to go into detail, but what made you choose that dream?
Because I always wondered, it seemed significant, but I had no idea what it meant, because it showed me in this, in another location geographically. Like I was in America getting a prize for like anti-drug something, and that I felt like there was a message behind it, but I wasn't really sure what it meant. So I wrote it down, and that was like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, and I always wondered what it meant.
Wonderful.
But I never found someone to interpret it for me.
When you got the opportunity to send it off to Esayo and you got your interpretation back, what was that like for you?
It was amazing, because she managed to break down every single detail that I would have just been like, oh, that's not important, you know. But she managed to dissect it and tell me exactly, like give me information I didn't even have a clue, you know. So it was good.
And did you feel like it was a helpful and accurate interpretation?
Yeah, it sort of summed me up to a T. So yeah, I was amazed.
So now, Esayo, let us know what your process was when you were working with this, because when I saw the report that you sent back, it was like 12 pages long. I mean, it was really very depth. You take piece by piece from the dream, and then you interpret in a paragraph response. And so you sort of take it in portions and interpret it for the person, but then you also give like an overall analysis of it at the end.
Yeah.
So what was your process for working with Carol's dream?
Well, with Carol's dream, what it's also a feeling. I get this feeling of like I feel whatever maybe she was feeling. I'm not sure, but maybe I embody the person's energy. And so there were things in there that may have seemed random to her, like what she was wearing and what she was holding and why, I don't know if I can say a couple of things that.
Yeah, is it okay, Carol, if she shares a couple of details from your dream?
Yeah, as long as she doesn't mention the other person that was in the dream. Anything else is fine with me.
Okay, no. The first one in particular was, you know, how I got the sense that she was not hiding, but no matter where no matter what she did to remain inconspicuous, she was found. And so for me, that meant sort of like you're destined for greatness and you're shirking away from it, but people are noticing your greatness and they want to use your ability. You're worthy. So that was like the main undertone of everything that I was reading. There were little symbols here and there, but I kept saying, oh my goodness, they keep telling her this. They keep telling her that, you know, you're powerful, you have a skill, you need to use it. And you may not think you're worthy of that, but people see it, and there are people who want to work with you. And that just kept coming out over and over again. One part was where she sort of was sitting in a park with her computer and trying to avoid somebody who was looking for her, manager. And the manager found her because he saw something on her computer. So even the, excuse me, even the instrument, the computer she was holding made her, sort of gave her up. And I thought, wow, there's everybody, everything is trying to say, you have it, you have everything that they need. So that's why people are seeking you and you're not noticing it. And no matter what you do, your glory precedes you. So they're going to find you. So you might as well just accept that you have these abilities and you need to use them. That was mainly what came out from this particular dream. And it came out in many ways, even where she got a certificate in the States. And for me, that is about travel. That even where you may be, even if you're in Australia, you may end up in the States, and that's where your work is going to probably be noticed and awarded. But you're destined for bigger things.
Now I want to ask Carol. Carol, did she know about you before you sent that off, that you felt like you have this calling to move to the States? Like, do you know any of that?
No, she had no clue. I just wrote that in the dream because I had that dream. I always knew I was meant to be in America, so I think that dream was validation, but I just didn't think much of it. But Esayo confirmed that.
Yeah, so basically for other people, I'll just explain quickly. I had worked with Carol and she had said part of her dream is to move to the United States, maybe around like Los Angeles. And so we had been working on that visualization. And in the dream, there's this really important part where she is getting an award for doing something. And she knew that that was something she was getting in the States. And, but when she sent the dream off to Esayo didn't know that. But she correctly interpreted that maybe your work and your recognition is going to come to you if you move to the United States. So what is wonderful about getting confirmation, whether you're getting it through a tarot reading or you're getting it through dream interpretation, is that what you're in alignment is and what your destiny is when you are starting to become consciously aware of it. Your subconscious has picked it up too. And then another person can sort of confirm that that is in fact what's happening. Then it can solidify your own investment in your dream. So then your dream, and I mean your dream in waking life, right? That kind of dream, not the dream, sleep dream, but you can really merge your living dream and know that that is your destiny, that it's an alignment, and you can clarify that and really get the validation and the motivation to make your dream real, to continue to pursue them. Yeah. So, Carol, how did it feel for you to get the dream interpreted? Did it change anything? Did it help you or assist you in any way?
Yeah, it did assist me because it brought out a few issues. Like I know I've had like self-doubt issues, confidence and other things, and Isaiah picked all that up in the dream and she gave me feedback, like constructive feedback, and told me basically you need to realize your worth, be confident, like no matter how hard you try to hide, because I do try to be invisible sometimes, maybe not intentionally, but that's just who I am. So she managed to tell me, like you need to put yourself out there and believe in yourself more. And I've been working on that with you as well when I had the session, so it's been helping.
Beautiful. And then you can set that intention in your waking hour and make sure that your steps that you're taking, the focus in your daily life is leading you in that direction. Even if it's not an immediate change, it's like I'm making small steps toward healing my sense of self in terms of my worth and taking more risks and not hiding so much. So that's really beautiful.
Yeah, there's a part in the dream as well, which was amazing. She managed to pick that up. I was waiting for, like, I was relying on this friend of mine to follow me, like, you know, in the dream, I'm in the dream, we're going somewhere. And I was wondering why this friend of mine isn't making a step to move, you know, they're just laying on their bed. So Esayo said that this part of the dream means that you always depend on people. You think you need people to get you to where you need to be, but you're strong on your own. And that's true, because I've always relied on people. Like even training, when I played soccer or I've done athletics, I've always felt I needed that extra push, that support. I always ask myself, why do I have to do all this on my own? Why? Other people get coaches, they get people to push them. Why do I have to do this on my own? You know, so she told me that I don't need anyone. I'm strong. I've got my own power, you know, like I need to start believing in it more. So it was good.
Beautiful. Oh, beautiful. Well, Esayo, before we leave, do you have anything that you want to say about dream interpretation before we sort of close out?
I just feel so emotional. Carol, I mean, I'm tearing up because, you know, you do these things and sometimes you're even holding back on what you have to write. And I'm actually tearing up because that touched my heart, that it made significance to her, so much significance to her. So that was just, I just needed to get that out there. Thank you so much, Carol, for that. Just say, could you ask your question again? I just lost my train of thought.
Anything else that you wanted to add? And that was beautiful to add. And it makes me realize that, you know, we all have gifts and talents, and they're natural and they're innate. And we can, once we understand that we have them, like you did, so you had this natural thing that was happening, and then you sort of claimed it and you said, oh, this is something special I do. I'm going to work on honing that skill and putting it out there. And it's beautiful because when we can become in sync with our own talents and our own abilities, then really life begins to open up for us. And it is not only that we are providing service to the world, but we do receive back from that. Not just in the form of it's our career and we're earning money, but just like you said, it was touching for you to know that you had made this connection with Carol and made a difference to her. I mean, that is an energetic exchange that is just precious.
Yes, it is. It is. Lara, what you said I thought was also important, of how you sort of created a triangle just now in terms of what you do with Carol, how that relates to the dream. And so for me, I've always been to your dream as in your goals and objectives, and how that relates to your dreams in your sleep. And I've been wondering, even just before this, how I can show people how your dreams and objectives are connected also to how your sleep dream, whatever you dream about. And I thought that was very something that I don't know if you can elaborate on in one of your videos, of how there's a connection. I'm going to try and do that to show people. That's why it's so important that whatever you dream, don't just discard it as a dream. It's related to whatever was happening in your conscious life, your daily life. It filters in that way.
Yeah, I think there are many different sort of kinds of dreams. You know, there's sort of these random dreams that if you ate too much the night before, right before you went to bed, you have these crazy dreams that are really, you know, they're just absurd, silly, whatever. But we know when we have a significant dream. And so I'll give my example, and Carol's dream is an example of that. Prior to starting the channel, I had this dream where I was walking down this beautiful garden path, and I came to this, you know, arbor, and there was this table set out, and I was really aware all these beautiful women around the table, all different sort of nationalities, colors, ages. It was beautiful. They were all dressed impeccably. They were glowing and radiant, every single one of them. And they were beckoning me really to come and sit down with them, join them. And I was not wearing pants and had one shoe on. So I had one shoe and I was not wearing pants. And I thought to myself, I'm not worthy of joining this table with all these beautiful women sort of in their queenly state. And then the next part of the dream, I'm following, and they're all entering like a cottage. And the last woman turns around, she's a young woman, she looks at me and she's gesturing for me to follow. And I look down in shame at myself again, thinking I'm starting to say, I can't, I'm not, prepared. When I had this overwhelming awareness, and as I was looking up to her, I was saying, is this the divine feminine? And she disappeared. And that's when I woke up. And what happened to me after that were a series of sort of personal changes. Okay. And I realized that what I was doing was I wanted to claim the Empress qualities of the divine feminine and step in, that I had the capacity, I was allowed to sit, but that I wasn't ready yet. There were things I needed to do to feel prepared. And that's sort of what the channel is about. It's about that journey to claiming that inside, and that we all have this inner divine feminine that is in her perfect form. The idea is, can we bring that higher self out and reflect that in our daily lives? And how do we get there? So that to me is a good example of a dream that was inspirational. And then it helped me focus on what was my daily steps toward achieving that in my waking life and claiming that. And I think that we all have dreams like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Yes, we do.
So I think we're done. The sun is starting to come up here in Seattle, which is beautiful. And tell us a bit about Botswana and the weather there.
It's winter, and we've had quite a couple of really cold days. Yesterday was really cold. Today's much better. And we are lucky to always have sunny days, mostly sunny days, like clear blue skies and lovely skies, actually. It's dry, it's arid. It's a serene place to live, I should say, in its own desert qualities, because we're in the Kalahari Desert.
Beautiful. And I know that, isn't there just beautiful parks in Botswana, right? There's some really big parks where people go on safari to see a lot of beautiful wildlife.
Yes, we do. I mean, and Botswana is one of those places where you don't have to go very far to see that. Like, I mean, you can travel maybe an hour away, or not far from where I live. There is a park, and you get to see zebras and things like that. And I mean, my thing is, it's like in your backyard, and there are places where you travel, you just see elephants and things like that, not close to the city, but not too far out.
So it's ironic that the three of us are on 3 different continents.
Yes.
And with 3 very different, well, both of you are in winter because you're both in the southern hemisphere. I'm in summer, but very different, climates, all 3, and wildlife and stuff. So now, Carol, what's it like weather-wise this time of year in Australia, and what's it like around you?
Well, I'm new to Brisbane. Brisbane's kind of, it's cold one day, it's sunny the next. So it's been sunny outside, but inside the house is really, really cold. It's got that icy feeling. But yeah, we have cold days and other days are hot. So it just depends.
What's the sort of wildlife? Tell me what's beautiful about where you live.
In Brisbane, The beach, probably. That's the only thing. I went to the Gold Coast the other day, so yeah, I had fun.
Oh, the beach is a big thing though. I mean, that's not the only thing. That's huge.
That's the only thing I can think of. Like wildlife here, it doesn't interest me. I've seen everything back home, so well, back home Zambia, so I'm not really. Well, there's kangaroos everywhere. That's new. Yeah, I love seeing kangaroos. Yeah, that's all I can think of.
Yeah, well, I think it's amazing because, of course, kangaroos and koalas, which are Australia is known for, as far as I know, do not exist in nature anywhere else. And at least, they're not here in Seattle naturally.
Yeah.
Of course, in Botswana with all the beautiful zebras and elephants, and I mean, they don't live in Australia or North America.
No.
It's just sort of beautiful, the diversity, and I just love that the three of us, divine feminines from
Yes.
3 different continents in different times of year, and we've never met in person, but we get to connect here and now, and through this conversation also spread that connection out to other viewers all over the world.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
amazing.
Cool.
So metaphorically, we are sitting at our table having our thank you both for joining me here today and for being a part of the journey and for doing your work to spread love in your own unique ways to all the people around you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Lara.
so, both of you. Thanks a lot, Lara, for this opportunity.
I'm going to put the connection so that if people are interested in getting in touch with USAO, it will be in the description box. And you go ahead and monitor the comments and reply to people. And people, when you are making comments, if you have a question, reach out. If it's something real small, let us say, oh no, I'm wondering about this. And if she can interpret it really quickly and easily, she can do that. And if it's something she needs to do more in depth, then she can let you know that as well.
Right.
So
Thank you.
everybody, happy dreaming. I am going to go back to bed now and ask Spirit to send me a very beautiful dream.
All right, Lara, have a good sleep. Thanks,
Oh,
Esayo.
and Carol,
Thank
you are going to sleep too, aren't you?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
you.
6 minutes to 11 at night.
Okay.
And you have a beautiful day, Esayo. Thank you both
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank
All right,
you.
see ya.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.